So about food and body and ingredients and such, where I come from in the Pacific Northwest, there are a lot of people who are particularly focused on ingredients right now, or at least that's the way it seems to me.
Most people are very conditionally focused relative to this subject, yes.
Yes, yes, I agree.
And most people are in a complete and utter state of confusion.
Yes. Yes. And that makes perfect sense to me. I've always been, well, not always. I have gone through periods of time where an ingredient seemed to bother me, and then, there was a time where I was...
Well, it's a natural thing to feel inspiration,
yes,
and to feel an inclination toward more of this and more of this or less of this.
Yes.
That's a good thing. That's guidance guiding you.
Yes. And that makes perfect sense.
But before we can have a discussion like this, we have to first have the discussion about guidance system in general, about interpreting in general, because almost everyone would rather have someone tell them what to do than receive their own inspiration until you get into that solid place of trusting your own guidance.
Right, so that is my question, is how do we find... I feel like I'm really getting solid and centered in this now, even though in the last couple of months I took a detour and started creating things in my body because I was listening to other people who were saying, oh, this is
well, that was the next thing that we were going to say. Don't talk to other people for a while.
Yes.
Because while you're talking to other people, you're not listening to your own guidance. And
exactly,
often when you talk to other people, they want you to hear what they're hearing. And while what they're hearing may be perfectly valid for them, it's not necessarily valid for you.
Yes.
And then you get in debates about what's the appropriate way, and then it all just breaks down. And then everyone gets frustrated and goes and eats the worst thing they can think of.
Yes, that's so true.
Because it's a vibrational match to the frustration that you're feeling.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So my question is, in some of the stuff that I was listening to this year, there's some really fascinating things about the way that our bodies work and how deliciously they do, and how robust our entire cellular system is, and like everything. I remember Deepak Chopra saying, I think in Quantum Health, one of his first books a long time ago, that our bodies are so well designed, our immune systems are so well designed, that it's almost like we have to have 20 different things fail all at once, even to get the common cold.
Yes.
And to me, that is very indicative of we're choosing.
And so when you understand the perfection of the intelligence of your trillions of cells and their relationship to source energy, it sort of makes you want to stay out of their way, because they know what they're doing. And as you are finding more things to feel good about that are related to all topics, not just that, then you receive the inspiration.
Yes. I really have loved learning more about the way that our bodies work and how delicious they are. So far, I keep running across people where they'll talk about that, but then they'll talk about, and this is the bad stuff that will happen.
But here's the thing. Anybody that you talk to about any topic, but let's just say this topic, you have to take into consideration first how much they are in alignment. Because if they're commonly in alignment, then you might want to listen to some of what they have to say. But if they're not, then they're really not the best source of information for you about anything. And so this is a really good conversation to have in this subject of condition as compared to unconditioned. Because the condition is all about what food do we eat and how much of it do we eat and in what combinations do we eat it. And there are endless conversations about that going on all around your planet. And if you were to move from culture to culture, you would be astonished at the differences in the things that cultures eat and remain healthy on as well. And so we were talking earlier about so many people making government the enemy, or making food processors the enemy, or making growers the enemy, or making the way the food is grown the enemy. And what we are really wanting you to hear is that any time you are making anyone or anything the enemy, you are putting up a big umbrella that keeps you from being aware of the guidance that you're being offered. You either have an inner being or you don't. Which is it? You either have guidance coming or you don't. Which is it? You either have intelligent cells in your body or you don't. Which is it? What's keeping people from being healthy is not what they're eating, it's what they're thinking. And it's not just what they're thinking about food, it's what they think about their neighbor, it's what they think about their mother, it's what they think about their brother, it's what they think about this and this and this and this and this. People are finding all kinds of things that they're pushing against, that are holding them in a place of resistance to their own guidance about everything. And in the process, they are actually blocking the communication between the cells and source. So the cells are asking, and source is giving, and the impulse is even coming to you, but because you're all twirled up in something that isn't any of your business, you're not receiving the impulse, and then you say, oh, I don't feel so good, I think I'll go read another book about what I should do, written by someone who doesn't know anything about the vibrational relationship between you and you. And we say, there is a better way of going about this. And let's start by just saying, we're all making too much of all of it. And let's start by saying well-being abounds. Let's start by saying what Deepak said, that there are trillions of cells and there's an intelligence and they know what they're doing, and the viability and the well-being of your physical apparatus is really something worth noting. Let's start looking for the positive aspects. Let's start talking about what feels good about all things. Let's get into that high-flying, light-hearted place. Notice the difference between the way your physical body feels when you are depressed, and look at the way your physical body feels when you are enlivened or feeling appreciation or when you are in love. Start noticing the emotional factor. The emotional factor, which is the indication of the vibrational factor. Get to the basis of creation and stop messing around with everybody else's idea about what you should be doing, about which they have no idea about who you are or what you are wanting or where you stand in relationship. It's like saying to others, hey, I've got an inner being who knows exactly where I am in relationship to where I want to be regarding every subject in the world, but I've decided to block that off while I argue about this. And we say, if you could just stop arguing for a little while, stop worrying for a little while, about a week is enough.
A week of worry?
Just start floating freely. Float in a sea of well-being, on a voyage of magnificence, and let all of your problems be wherever they be, but not with ye. And watch what begins to happen to your physical body. There's a lot of wisdom out there. There's a lot of specific information that could very well be the peace that you want right now. But you can't find it unless you're happy. You can't find it when you're worried. You can't find it when you're mad. You can't find it when you're worried. You can't find it when you're mad. You can't find it when you're worried. You can't find it when you're mad. It's going to take a while. You can't find it when you're worried. You can't find it. Lighten up. Be easy about it.